All right. Think we're live. It gives me, okay. We did it. I messed around with those, what are they called? Those fake backgrounds. So weird. I can't do it. And so instead, I make videos in my bedroom for the internet. Let's see if that helps this go viral. We're going to talk about period problems. Oh man. Okay. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Jessica. I am the owner and founder of Health Patriot Coaching. I am a registered nurse and holistic health coach that is specialized in more integrative health alternatives for people. And one of my big passions is education, not in the school academia area, but in real life situations. I love being a detective of the human body especially for different health situations or struggles that people have had for a really long time and they've been shut down by doctors or had all these tests run and just are at this place of not understanding what's going on with their body and wanting to get to the root cause. And so today I'm going to talk about something that affects so many women and in turn affects so many families. It affects marriages, it affects relationships. Hormones run your body. And when they're out of balance, I have said many, many times that imbalanced hormones can wreck a marriage because it can make a woman batshit crazy. And when a husband or a man, yes, men have hormones too, when a man's hormones are out of whack or really low and they have low testosterone, they're drive tanks. And when a man's drive tanks, it ends up affecting up here and it affects relationships. So today I'm going to be talking about heavy periods, PMS, PCOS, endometriosis, endometriosis, all of those diagnoses that have to do with one commonality. Now, I'm not talking to you from a registered nurse pedestal. I'll say that. I'm not talking about how to cure or reverse a medical diagnosis. That is out of my scope. I am talking about what commonality those struggles have, and I'm going to give you some reasons why they happen and what you can do about it, some tangible things you can do about it. Okay, so, and also if you would like this, I'm gonna be uploading it to my YouTube channel. So if you would like the recording, if you could just say so in the live stream comments. And if you have any questions as I go, put them in the comments so that I can go back and answer those. That would be awesome. So, when you go to the doctor and you think of someone who's struggling with a really heavy period or really bad PMS, you think of the sex hormones, right? Usually a doctor would look at, well, let's check your estrogen, testosterone, maybe your progesterone, your DHEA, and those are all important. While we're talking about testing, I do want to acknowledge the fact that, especially women, our hormones are cyclical, meaning they cycle throughout the month. So whenever you're testing your hormones, you have to make sure it's your parameters of what is normal is for that time of the month for you whenever you get your blood drawn. It's hormone testing is very complicated, and I will leave it at that. There's blood, saliva, urine tests, and I found depending saliva and urine tests are some of the most accurate. But with all of these diagnoses, usually a high majority of the time, the individual has high estrogen levels and low progesterone levels. In fact, estrogen dominance is very, very common in our culture, even if you do not have an actual diagnosis. And some of the symptoms are you have a very heavy period, or you have irregular periods or spotting in between. You can have face acne, really bad PMS, or really, really bad cramping. I have known friends and had clients that ended up in the ER sometimes or would pass out because it was so bad. That's not supposed to happen. I know that it is more common, unfortunately, nowadays, but it's not supposed to happen. And if something's out of balance like that, this is how my brain's always worked. So I had hormone imbalance. Mine started in college, actually in my senior year of high school. I had the opposite where I stopped having a menstrual cycle for 7 years. And the doctor wanted to put me on birth control. And I think I was 19. And I said, I don't need birth control. I'm not sexually active. To which they laughed at me and said, okay, college student. I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't need that. And they said, well, this is what's going to fix your problem. And I never understood because I knew that I wasn't birth control deficient, right? That's how my brain worked. I'm not birth control deficient. So tell me why this is happening. And well, we think you might have a brain tumor. Like I was terrified. You have the hormone levels of a 55-year-old woman. We think you have a brain tumor. And so I went through all these testings. So for those of you who are in this world and you are struggling and you have had a lot of tests, I so empathize with you because it can be extremely exacerbating and frustrating, which is why I like to do these trainings now and why hormone balance has become such a passion of mine, because I was a disaster and I learned why. And now my hormones are, despite 3 tiny humans and running multiple businesses and having a crazy lifestyle, they're great. So there's hope, I promise. So when it comes to estrogen dominance, estrogen and progesterone are 2 of our sex hormones. They're hormones linked to our sex. And they usually progesterone should be higher than estrogen. But in our culture, because of the lifestyle that we live in, estrogen many times is higher than progesterone. And when this happens, everything is thrown out of balance. It is linked to every single one of these conditions that I put in the title. Endometriosis, PCOS, a lot of times can lead to infertility, adenomyosis, fibroids, when you have those in your uterus. And so if we know that, then let's look at why is that happening? Why are so many women and men struggling with too much estrogen in the body? To which I would say, I'm so glad that you asked because I'm going to tell you. Okay, here's one of the factors. Your liver is congested or sluggish or not working properly. I'm going to read off some of the functions of the liver because I do think that is really fascinating and really helpful for people to recognize just how critical your liver is. And when it's congested or sluggish because it's been burdened with so many toxins, then you'll see some of these symptoms pop up that many people won't acknowledge or recognize that, oh, that might be because of my liver. And I share this with you not to make you nervous or scared that something's wrong with your liver. The liver regenerates so fast, but we have to take care of it. Okay. So here's a couple of functions, a handful of functions of the liver. And I can send you this amazing graphic if you want. But again, you got to put it in the chat so I know how to get a hold of you. So first, it's a production of cholesterol. Did you know that your liver produces cholesterol and helps regulate it? What? No. What do we talk about when it comes to high cholesterol? We only talk about fatty foods. Well, actually, you need to nourish and strengthen your liver to help support those cholesterol levels. It's also a precursor to our sex hormones. It's a precursor to hormone production and vitamin D. How many of you have vitamin D, low vitamin D levels, right? The storage of micronutrients, such as our minerals, magnesium, iron, a bunch of vitamins. Blood sugar balance. When you're eating too much sugar, there's a significant increase in non-alcohol fatty liver disease. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. They have an acronym for it, like everything. And most people will say, I've never drinking a drop of alcohol in my life. How do I have a fatty liver? It's because of the sugar or the high glucose foods such as white flours, refined food products. If you were to look at a glycemic index scale of different foods and the different foods that spike your blood sugar, the ones that are on the higher level, such as obviously all desserts, but white flours, white bread, white rice, white pasta, those are going to require a shot of insulin, not a literal shot, but like your body has to have this whole hormone cascade to stabilize your blood sugars when you eat those foods. The liver, when you eat too much glucose, can transform it and store it as glycogen for when you need energy again. Well, the problem is that most people over a long period of time chronically eat too many high glycemic foods, and that ends up making the liver very, very sluggish because it's been working so hard at converting that excess glucose into glycogen. It also produces bile, and bile is really important for your digestion. Bile is stored in your gallbladder. Anyone who's ever had any gallbladder issues, the liver is what you're supposed to look at first because the buildup in the gallbladder is from the liver being overworked. Protein synthesis is so in depth. I won't even go into that one. Your immune system, really important for that. Your metabolism and your thyroid, it's responsible for the conversion of your T4 to your to T3 and detoxification of fat. And then detoxification of everything from any drugs that you do, alcohol that you drink, medications, any kind of environmental toxins, anything that you're breathing in or exposed to is processed through your liver. So your liver has a huge job. And when it's congested, you will feel it in lack of mental clarity and your digestion, bloating, low metabolism, and your hormones. And a sluggish liver can and almost always does almost always does lead to too much estrogen in your body, because one of your liver's functions is to break down estrogen and eliminate it from the body, too much estrogen. So when it's not functioning properly, it will accumulate. And a couple other things that contribute to your estrogen levels being higher is a lack of digestive enzymes, too much bad bacteria in your gut, low magnesium levels, too little of fiber. All of those can prevent estrogen from being successfully eliminated from your body. This can cause a thickening of your uterine lining. Everyone knows that when we have our period, it is the shedding of the lining because you didn't get pregnant that month. And so the heaviness or clotting, and if any dudes are still watching this, sorry, I mean, it's your fault because you knew I'm talking about this. But that is from the heavy periods from the lining of your uterus being too thick. And one of the reasons it's too thick is because your estrogen levels are too high. And most likely, not always, but many times your progesterone levels are too low. Whoa. I will do another video on women who are in menopause and the role of the liver in maintaining adequate estrogen levels that are actually really important, because at menopause, most women's estrogen levels tank and fall out, and that is where we end up with another side of problems. But I'll save that for another one. I'll stay on topic for this one. So what are some other ways that estrogen levels can become too high? Birth control for a long period of time. Almost every woman that I know is on or has been on birth control. So I do have some strategies and a supplement that I recommend for women who've been on birth control to help remove the excess estrogen from that pharmaceutical estrogen. Excess body fat. So fat tissue secretes estrogen. So having a high percentage of body fat can lead to high estrogen levels. And on the flip side, having high estrogen levels, such as those of you who have PCOS, have higher estrogen levels, and that makes losing weight really hard. And so the two go hand in hand. Stress, when you're stressed constantly, the hormone cortisol is released. And when you have high cortisol levels chronically over time, that depletes your body's progesterone levels. And when progesterone is low, it lets estrogen go crazy. So progesterone's kind of like the parent hormone in some instances, where it keeps estrogen in check. It's supposed to. But when it's too small, and your estrogen gets too big, it just goes crazy. It can get out of control and you don't have enough progesterone to support it. So for a lot of women that I work with, recommend a progesterone cream. It's a non-prescriptive progesterone cream just to help support those healthy hormone levels. Alcohol, drinking too much alcohol can increase your estrogen levels and reduce your body's ability to break it down, obviously, because it affects the liver. And synthetic xenoestrogens. What are xenoestrogens, Jessica? They are endocrine disrupting chemicals. And I've been talking about this a lot the last month or so. Anything that you put on your skin can be absorbed into your body. It's why we have birth control patches and pain patches, because they work. They're absorbed into your skin. So think of the soaps, the lotions, the perfumes, everything, the makeup that you put on your skin. A lot of those products have xenoestrogens, or EDCs for short. We'll do it, that endocrine disrupting chemicals for short. And when they're absorbed into your body, they disrupt your endocrine system, which is your hormone system. And many of these chemicals were designed to mimic estrogen. Chemically, they structurally mimic estrogen, and it hijacks your hormone system, and it compounds over time. Now, high estrogen levels, especially from these xenoestrogens, are not only contributing to your miserable periods and PCOS and these conditions that I talked about, but they also contribute to an increased risk of multiple cancers. They can contribute to insulin resistance, to tumors, because they're feeding into your imbalance that you have. And research has shown they are absolutely known to increase your risk of, mostly in these hormone related cancers. If you ever see BPA free, for example, on plastics, it's because BPA, bisphenol A, and phthalates, I can never say that right, pH phthalates, are known for being endocrine disrupting chemicals that when you're exposed to them, when you microwave your plastic, when you put your plastic in the dishwasher, when you leave your plastic water bottles in the car, those chemicals are leached into that water and you are consuming them. And I know that this can be overwhelming. Stay with me, because all we have to do is take one step at a time to improve those things. And that's what I'm here to help you do, is what can you do to reduce your exposure of these endocrine disrupting chemicals? And what can you do to support your liver and to reduce your estrogen levels if this is you, if you are lining up with all these things I'm talking about? And that's what I'm going to talk about now. First of all, these mason jars make great water bottles. That's what I use every day. So switch over to glass when you can, or stainless steel if you can. That's one way you can get plastic out. This company that I've partnered with, and I left my other previous partnership, which was very, very hard for me to do, but I did it because I know the massive need, and I'm so excited that I have tools in my tool belt to be able to offer you hormone safe products for your skin and for home cleaning. That's huge. And you want to start with the things that you use most. So what are you using every day that you put on your skin? Let's start replacing that first. So if you would like to look at the skincare line that I use, I live in North Idaho from California, and my skin has been so dry since I moved here over 3 years ago. And this skincare line has saved my face in a very short period of time. And I've tried a lot of different things. And all it is a morning serum and a night serum. That's it. That's all I'm using right now. And I wash my face most of the time. I'm really bad at that. I'll be totally honest. So I have that. There's a body oil that I absolutely love and use, and a body scrub. And then there's a amazing home cleaning set. It comes in these beautiful glass amber squirt bottles and with a cleaning concentrate. And it's so easy, convenient to use, safe for your kids, safe for your pets, and it is very effective. So that is one option. There's a lot of different options out there, but I will warn you that it becomes very overwhelming because of the greenwashing, they call it, that goes on, where, like Mrs. Meyer's is labeled as a clean brand, but they're owned by a parent company. I'm pretty sure it's Clorox now, or one of those evil companies. And it's not really clean for you. A lot of them still contain endocrine disrupting chemicals. So it's really important that you know what you're getting. And then secondly is let's support your liver. That's a big thing, right? Let's support your liver. What are some easy ways you can do that? Drinking lemon water. Lemon has compounds in it that is amazing at naturally regenerating your liver cells. Drink more water. Think of it as reducing your toxin load as much as you can from what you put in, on, and around your body. Get rid of your air fresheners. Sorry, this is not talking about your liver necessarily, but your air fresheners are causing a lot of damage, not just to your liver, but to your lungs. The chemicals that are allowed in our homes are causing a significant increase in lung cancer. And I know that's a totally different topic, but it does affect your hormones as well. So start getting rid of those. Use some essential oils as a natural alternative. Drink lemon water. I've been talking a lot about a 3-part supplement stack that I use every morning. It's very easy, called the routine. You personally fill up a mason jar, but fill up a glass of water. You put our hydrate and detox packet in. The hydrate and detox has minerals for your adrenals and your thyroid to support those parts of your endocrine system. It has glutathione, really powerful glutathione to support your liver. It has a patented probiotic and prebiotic to support your gut health, which we talked about, really also helps your estrogen levels. And it has some liver and ginger in there to bring it all home, basically. No sugar, tastes delicious, but it's really powerful at helping to support your liver function. And that is why I've heard so many people say their digestion is like clockwork now. Their mental clarity and their energy is amazing. And their cycles, many women who had chronic migraines right before their periods, gone. I'm not saying it's going to happen for everybody, but it is happening for people. So, and that supplement is a huge reason why. And then there's also an amazing, very cleanly sourced collagen, a marine collagen, not a bovine collagen like most of them are. And it dissolves really easily. And that helps with the absorption. It helps with your gut lining, it's type 1, 2, and 3 collagen, helps with your skin, of course, your nails and your hair, your joints, but also your gut. And that's really important, what I wanted to highlight. And then there's a morning supplement. There's 2 capsules that I take in the morning that has milk thistle, which is really good for your liver, CoQ10, cranberry, vitamin D. Like I didn't bring it in front of me. I usually have it memorized, but some really amazing energy supporting, liver supporting supplements in there. So I've been doing that every morning. And my clients that have been doing that have been loving it. And it's just one simple way that you can support not only your liver, but your whole endocrine system first thing in the morning. If you have any other questions for me about this, I am happy to answer them. Feel free to email me at healthpatriotcoaching@gmail.com or ask in the comments below on Facebook, since I'm live in Facebook. And if you want this recording or you want to send it to anyone, then I will absolutely upload this to YouTube. I just need a way to contact you and get it to you. And if you want to shop around on my Hormone Safe website, you can also do that. I will put it in the comments below, but it's healthpatriot.youandgrace.com. I think it's what it is. Okay. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Okay. Bye.